Well, welcome in everybody. Thank you very much for joining me here again for this mindful movement session. Remember, with all these sessions, just do the best you can, however that looks like, with all the movements, the breathing, whatever it is. If you need to take any extra rest at any point, that's absolutely fine. Just take that rest and join them back in whenever you're ready to. Or if there's any exercise that you can't do, you just want to do a slightly different version of it, that's fine, but I help show you along the way how you can adapt these different things. Let's first of all get ourselves in a nice comfortable position, wherever you are. And we'll start with our breathing here, relaxing ourselves down and bringing the focus inwards. So going in through the nose, out through the mouth. And when you're ready to, you can close down those eyes and start to extend that breath, slowly but surely breathing in, breathing out. Bring that focus inwards. Start to just think about the breathing in, the breathing out. And as that focus comes in, remind ourselves that we don't need to worry about what's come before us today, what's happening after today's session. All we need to think about is being present, being mindful, and staying focused on the activities that we're doing within the next hour. All those other bits and pieces, they won't help us right now. What will help us the most is staying focused and focusing on the breathing, the movements you do, and doing the best that you can do now. You've already committed by turning up, so now commit to the focus of the session as well. Keep the breathing going whilst you're thinking about that. And let's also thank ourselves for coming up here today. You've taken the hardest step, which is just turning up. So now we can go through the session and make the most of it thanks to your commitment to coming here today. Keep the breathing going in through the nose, out through the mouth. Keep the breathing as you're doing, keeping the eyes closed as well. But I want you to breathe just a little bit more animated. So as you breathe out, shrink yourself forwards a little bit. As you breathe in, lift the chest up, bring the shoulders back a little bit, just a little bit more animated with it. So breathing out, breathing in, pulling the shoulders back, lifting the chest up, head comes up slightly, standing up, or sitting up nice and tall. And as we breathe out, it relaxes down, come forwards a little bit. Just go with what feels natural here with the extra movement. Ready to start to open up your eyes. Continue that breathing going, still with the animated version of it. Yeah, okay, quickly. Eyes are open, breathing. Let's go into some shrugging the shoulders up as you breathe in, and then relaxing them down as you breathe out. So going up and down, we're going to come forwards with the shoulders and then squeeze those shoulder blades back together as you breathe in. And then breathe out, push them forwards. Okay, let's continue our breathing, but we're gonna breathe in, pull the hands up, rotate them round and breathe out as you push them down. Link the breathing in with the movements, nice, gentle, glide up, rotate the hands, push down. Breathe in as they come up. Breathe out as you push down. Continue that, but as you come up, push both hands forwards instead, and then relax down to the start. So breathing in, breathing out, back to the beginning. Struggle with the balance of coming forwards, we can always do one hand and then the other. Depends on how well you can balance with both those arms going forwards or not. You may see I kind of shuffle forwards and back in my chair a little bit as I do some of the exercises. That helps just support my core. So if I, sorry, just explaining why I'm always shuffling around. So if I do this without that, that's what happens. If I shuffle my thumb forwards a little bit, I come up, I press forwards, I can do it now. So that's kind of why I'm always adjusting my seating position, just mainly for the explanation of it, so I can actually do it. Same movement, but so it's the front, going out to the side. Okay, we're gonna come from about the belly area now, push up, out, and around, back down to the middle. Breathe out as you push up. Breathe in as you bring it around. Okay, when you're ready to, we can reverse the direction now. So bring it up and above, and then pushing it down into our stomach. Breathe in, breathe out. And let's get into some shoulder rotations, so just moving them around nice and gentle. Good work, everybody. It's just nice, easy circles around. You might find as you get into it a bit more, it starts to become a little bit more of a freer movement than when you started. Let's change direction. Yeah, and let's put our hands on our shoulders and keep that shoulder rotations going around, but just including a bit more of the arms with it as well. The hands don't have to be locked in position. They can sort of glide around a bit on top of your shoulders. Just get around the best we can. And don't worry about which direction you're going, because we will be swapping, not quite yet, we will be swapping at some point. it's too much to go both arms together, you can always alternate around. Just doing whatever you can to get these little chicken wings going. Yeah, let's change direction on that. Going the opposite way now, whichever way you were going before. And again, you can do a double arm or alternating arms, whatever works for you. And then let's open that up a little bit more by taking one arm and going nice slowly round. Just opening up that shoulder even more. We've mobilized it nicely. And change direction. To the other side. And change direction. Wrong one. I hit the light on with my hand. I don't even know which one I didn't know. The last one I chose, there you go. Good work. And then back to just some shoulder rotations. Change direction. Good, easing out a bit there. And we go straight away into our mobility in our spine. So looking up, looking down, and going back and forth between the two. Nice, gentle, controlled. And as you look up, this is going to be quite okay, like to look up. We're not holding the position yet. So that's pretty okay and easy to get into position. But as we look down, I want you to try and tuck your chin in as you do it. So as you're going back and forth between the two, try and tuck your chin in. And what that's going to do is to curl the neck over rather than just bend in one position. And the idea of that is to try and spread the load of the bending of the neck there over each vertebrae. If we just look down, sometimes that means that we can just put a lot of movement in one of the vertebrae, but if we curl over, that's a bit more distributed throughout, and it can help us to just mobilize it just a little bit more comfortably. So that's where we're going back and forth between the two. And then whenever you find yourself looking down, let's hold that position. And again, try and tuck the chin in as you're doing it. Let gravity take over. I always notice for myself anyway, if I tuck my chin in, I just get a little bit more of a stretch towards the top of my neck, which means that it feels like the load is being distributed up that, it's being all the way along the vertebrae there. Just to get a little bit of a stretch in there, as opposed to not tucking my chin in, and it kind of goes a little bit lower. So I feel like tuck it in, curls it over, and that helps to stretch out all the way along the neck there. It can be a bit restricted with the breathing though, so you can always relax off and then come back into it whenever you're ready. Just ease out of it, looking up and down again. So you find yourself looking up towards the sky. Do that, keep the mouth closed, hand on the sternum if you need to, pulling that down, increasing the stretch on the front of the neck. So keeping the mouth closed really helps, as well as pulling down on that sternum. In that stretch position as well, you can always rock side to side a little bit. See if one side feels more or less than the other. Ease out of it. Do a couple looking up and down, just to relax out of that, and then we go into our rotation. So going one side, then the other, back and forth between the two. With the rotation, it's pretty easy to get this one right as we are rotating. But one thing which I can see people here aren't doing anyway, so it's not too much of an issue. But we don't want to rotate our shoulders with it. We want to try and keep those still and just rotate the head. And the next time you find yourself looking to the left, let's hold it there. And if you need to, put in the hand on the collarbone, the opposite collarbone, and pulling down diagonally towards the armpit to increase the stretch here. So if we're looking to the left, take your left hand, put it on your right collarbone, sort of pull diagonally downwards towards your armpit. Have a play around with it as well. Feel of it is almost like we're stretching the skin, and that's going to help us to get those muscles underneath that control the neck. And this stretching of it helps with just relaxing off the area, helping to maintain a good healthy muscle. can be a little bit tricky to get into position, so if you're not quite feeling it, have to play around, find the bit that works for you. And then let's ease out of it. Looking left and right again for a couple of times. You find yourself looking to the right. Let's hold it there. Hand in position again if you need to. So looking to the right, right arm comes onto the left collarbone and pulls diagonally down towards the armpit. Ease out of it. Do a couple of looking left and right. And then we're getting to our lateral flexion. That's one ear to one shoulder, to the other, back and forth between the two. Nice and easy. You probably already feel a stretch in this as you are going left and right. That's perfectly normal. Then we next find our left ear on our left shoulder, holding it there. And we take our right arm, we can either drop it down towards the ground, increasing that stretch between the right ear and the right shoulder, or we can bring it behind our back, and that just changes the stretch slightly. So either behind the back or straight down, whatever works for you. And once you're in this position as well, you can always rock the head back and forth slightly and find the area that you get the most stretch in. So for me, it's slightly forwards. You get a bit more of a stretch in there. Ease out of it. Left and right, couple here. And then when you're ready to right ear to right shoulder, left arm drops down or behind. And you may find that one side you get more of a stretch than the other side. For me, this one's a little bit less, the other side was a bit more intense. Ease out of it. Couple of lefts and rights. And then we go into the rest of our spine. Extending through, flexing down, going back and forth between the two, arching like a high jumper, curling over like a prawn. And just the best you can. It may take you a couple to get into it. You need to use your hands like myself. You can use those to literally pull yourself through, push that chest through, and then curl it over. or if you can't do that, you can always just use the backrest to support you as you go up and then curl down. And it's important that this isn't just a hip hinge, which would be like this. That would be a hip hinge. We want to curl over, not fold forwards. It's curling like a prawn, that's what I say there. And as you come up, we're not just sitting up straight, we're trying to push that chest through and arch that spine. Yeah, let's go into some rotation. So rotate one side, then the other, using the hands to assist if you need it. Let's put in some hold in this position. So let's hold it when we're round to the left. And we don't need to worry about really pulling ourselves around here. Just get into that position and just breathe into it here. As you breathe out, you may find that you can move a little bit easier. As you breathe in, you might find that it wants to pull you almost back round to the center line a little bit. But just go with it. Now, so we'll do a couple of lefts and rights. And whenever you're ready to, over to the right side now to hold that stretch. And again, breathe into it here. That's a bit. Yeah, let's do some lateral flexion. So we come down to one side, down to the other, back and forth between the two. Keep that going there, nice gentle movements. Thinking about that curling over again, just like we did on the other flexion, rather than just bending over, curling over. And then let's combine some of those movements together by going around in a whirlpool. Change direction. Bring it off there. Let's have a little hydration break now. And we go into the next bit after that. Back everybody. Okay. Going to continue the good work we've done here already today in this next bit. We're going to do a little bit of stretching through the shoulders. And to start with, go do a nice easy one. So we basically take our hands, and we rotate them round to one way, and then rotate them around the other way. Hopefully you can see at the bottom of the screen, you can see my hands rotating round and then rotating back. I'm going to drop them down a little bit more so now. So it's keeping the arms relaxed by the side, but I'm just holding them up here so you can see. Rotate round one way and then round the other way. And as you do so, try and feel a little bit of a stretch in there. If you can't quite, then try as well alternate. So one's one way and then one's the other way. See if that works for increasing the stretch a little bit. And then the other way to do it, to make it just a little bit more, is to get their arms raised up. And then for me, I find this, it just increases the stretch just a little bit. Then we can do both hands or alternating hands. So you've got some options there, but essentially just rotating it around. And as you do, you'll feel the stretch. Probably in the shoulders, maybe in the elbows, even down at the wrists, potentially. But you'll feel either some stretch or some tension as you do so. And my personal best way of getting that stretch in is arms out to the side, alternating the hands. But if you can't quite hold that out there for whatever reason, then you can go back to going down to the side. Feeling that stretch all the way up the arm, hopefully. Okay, we're going to continue stretching in the shoulder there. This time, I want you to get your elbows up slightly as we rotate them back and then rotate them forwards. Again, you can do both arms together, or if you need to do it for balance reasons, you can do it one at a time. I'll turn to the side so you can see it from there. Essentially, it's rotating it back, rotating it forwards. So that's our movement here. And as you come back here, you'll feel a stretch sort of kind of a little bit in the front of the shoulder, but also maybe a little bit deeper than that. And as you come forwards as well, you may feel that shift slightly. Good, okay, we're going to Give ourselves a hug, try and stretch it as you do so, and then open it up, stretch the chest out, and then come back in. And again, hug ourselves nice and tight, the best we can. We're opening up. So as we open up, we feel it in our chest there. And as we come in and squeeze, we should feel it maybe a little bit across the back area. We just go back and forth between the two. In your own time, in your own pace. Just trying to get that stretch in. Let's ease into that one. Okay. Good work. Let's just do some shoulder rotations there. Going forwards. Sometimes when we do a bit of stretching, it's nice just to mobilize it a little bit afterwards, just to get everything flowing again nicely. Good work. Okay, right. We are going to do some of our yoga flows now. We've done a little bit of the stretching. So I've taken one break off for cleaning purposes. So I might be moving around quite a little bit as I do this, but hopefully I'll stay on screen as we go through this one. But essentially we are going to go straight into the one where we come up, out and around. So I'll just guide you through the first one here. So it's coming all the way down, up with the flat back down, up with the curled back, arms together, reaching up, out, around, and then all the way back down to the starting position. You know this one by now, so keep it going. Flat back, curl back, arms together, up and around, back to the starting position. Not that fast though, in your own pace, nice, slow and controlled. Good, okay, so now when we come up and around, we're going to stop at arms parallel to the floor, rotate to the left, rotate to the right, and then back to the middle, and then back to the start again. Yeah. With a flat back, up with the curled back, arms together, reaching it up, out to parallel, to the left, to the right, back to the middle, back to the start. Good. Up with the flat back down, curl up, reach up, out, rotate to the left, rotate to the right, and back to the middle. Good. This time we're going to go through it again. So we come up with the flat back, up with the curled back, arms together, reaching up, out. When we come to parallel this time, rotate to the left, and then instead of rotating back, we're going to drop the left hand down, right arm comes up, points to the sky, comes back to parallel. Let's rotate round to the other side. Right arm drops down, left arm comes up, and then seesaw, seesaws back again, rotates back to the front, and then all the way down to the starting position. I'll go through that again with you. So up with the flat back down. Curl up this time. Arms together, reaching up, out to parallel. Rotate to the left, drop the left hand down, right arm comes up as we seesaw, up and back. Rotate around to the right, drop the right arm down, left arm comes up, and seesaws back again. Rotate around to the front and all the way back to the starting position. Good. Coming up with a flat back down. Up with the curl back. Arms together, reaching up, out, and around. So we go to the left, seesaw back, and then seesaw back to the front. Rotate to the other side, seesaw back, seesaw front, and rotate round. We're going to continue this theme, but we'll add a little bit in to the next bit. So come to the start position, up with a flat back down, up with a curled back, arms together, reaching up, out, and around. Rotate to the left, seesaw back, seesaw to the front. This time put the hand on the lap, left arm goes up towards the sky, and then comes down, threads the needle, the gap we've created, and then comes out. We're going to come out into parallel with our arms. We're going to rotate to the right this time. Right arm drops down, left arm comes up. We seesaw back, and then seesaw to the front. And then this time the left arm drops onto the lap, just like so. Right arm points to the sky, and then it comes down. This gap we've created in under our armpit here, we go through it and rotate over to that side. Good. We'll go through that again, but I just want to give you just a little note as well. If you struggle to come down and through this gap, because that can be quite a tricky position to come into, you can always come across the front instead. If that's too much of a position to get right the way down into there, you can come across the front instead, or just come across the front of the body, just a less intense version. We'll start from the beginning there again, all the way down, up with the flat back down, up with the curl back, arms together, reaching up, out, and okay, rotating to the left. Left arm drops down, right arm comes up. Right arm comes down as the left arm comes up. Right arm goes on the lap, left arm points to the sky. Then he comes down, threads the needle at the gap we've created with our right arm. And then eases out of it. Back with our arms parallel to the ground, rotate to the right. Right arm drops down, left arm comes up. Seesaws back again, left arm on the lap, right arm pointing to the sky, and then it comes down, threads this needle at the gap we've created with our left arm, and then rotates into that side. Good, ease out of it. Let's go through that one more time here, starting from the beginning, coming up with that flat back first of all. Coming back down, curling up. Arms together, reaching up, out to parallel, rotate to the left. Left arm down, right arm up. Switch that now, right arm comes down onto the lap, left arm points up towards the sky, and then comes down, threads the needle through the gap here. Eases out of it, back so our hands are both parallel. Rotate to the right, right arm down, left arm up. Left arm down, now right arm up, pointing to the sky. And then coming down, thread the needle through that gap there. And then ease out of it. Good, okay. We are going to just do part of that now, which is just the end part, which is the threading the needle bit, or the best you can. So our options here, we're basically going to go from, the left arm's going to come from here, we're going to come down through the gap, and then we come back and just go back and forth between that. As I already mentioned, if you can't get your arm into that gap and rotate round to the side, do a version of it where you come in front of it instead. Or if that's too much, you can come up and then just come across. So as you can see, they're just slightly different variations on a theme. This one is a little bit of an easier position to get into. Then it gets a little bit harder as we come down a little bit more. And then as we come down into it more, we get more of a rotation around. So whatever you can do here, do what you can do. So stick the one arm for now. I'll let you know when we switch over. You can see as you're doing this, the spinal movements that we usually do in action. So here we're flexing and rotating at the same time. And as we come out, we're extending and we're rotating as well. So we're kind of combining two exercises together when we go down. And then still the rotation, but extending on the way up. So it's good. Using those spinal movements together, they do like to work together. And it just helps us there. Let's change over to the other side now. Coming up, and then coming down and through. Or if you can't come through threading the needle, you can come on the outside. Or just rotating across the body. Whatever you can do here to feel like you're getting some flexion with the rotation as you come down. And then extension with the rotation as you come out. And we also get a little bit of shoulder work in there, a little bit of a stretch as you come in both directions. So arm up, we get a bit of a chest and a front deltoid stretch. Coming down, we get a little bit of a trap and rear deltoid stretch. Not crazy amounts, but just enough to get a little bit of extra benefit in there. Do two more wherever you're at. See now it's a bit when you've done those two. Right, okay, let's start to bring today's session to a close. Just start with some nice deep breathing, just to relax ourselves down and bring that focus back in again. Nice deep breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth, keeping the eyes closed. And then let's do a quick little body scan through the top of our head to the tip of our toes. So checking in with each part, seeing how it feels, and moving on. Starting with the top of our head, working down into our forehead, seeing how it is, seeing how it feels, into our eyes, the eye sockets, cheeks. Notice how it feels, give it a wiggle if you need to, give it a poke if you need to. Just see how it feels in that area. Coming down into our mouth, our jaw. And then into our neck. Again, if you need to move it, give it a wiggle, whatever it is. Just see how it feels. As you come down into our shoulders now. See how they are checking in. And coming down through our upper arms into our elbows. Down through our forearms into our wrists. Down all the way through to the tips of our fingers. Giving those fingers a wiggle if you need to. Then bring that focus all the way back up to our shoulder area. We're going to go down through our spine now. Again, moving it if you need to. Whatever you need to do to check in as you work your way down the spine, vertebrae by vertebrae. And then just before we come to the hips, let's change our focus round to the front now, to our digestive system, our stomach. Seeing how that's doing. And then coming down to our hips. Our upper legs to our knees. And even if you can't feel this area or move these, that's absolutely fine. Just put the focus on it, see how it is. And as we move down now into our ankles. And finally our toes. Keep the focus on the toes there for a second. We're going to do 3 deep breaths. We're going to bring it in through the nose, but I want you to imagine your body's filling up with a bright light as you breathe. Starting from your toes, going to the top of your head. Are you ready? Off we go. Breathe in. Breathe out. 2 more. Breathe in. Breathe out. 1 more. And as you do this last breath, relax it down there. Keep the eyes closed. And we just want to thank ourselves for coming today. For first of all, making that step for turning up. And then secondly, staying focused throughout the session. And making the most out of it for us today. To give yourself a pat on the back, round of applause, however you want to do it, as we open up our eyes and finish bang on the hour. There we go. How about that for timing? Good work, everybody.